everybody, welcome back to the dumbest starbase on all of YouTube. We just had a power outage. Pit Stain Hobbies. So I want to do a full nacelle mod tutorial for everybody. Unfortunately, that requires me going through 3 stages of boring other parts to have all the nacelle parts. So we got some, window panels, but we got nacelle stuff. Then we got this thing and that thing, but then we got nacelle parts. Same goes for these two. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build all of those other panels. If there's anything spectacularly interesting or tricky, I will cover those bits. But my whole goal for this episode is to build one custom lit nacelle for everybody and show you how I do it. I'm calling it the Todd Light nacelle, like L-I-T-E. So his nacelles are they have all sorts of Arduino controls and all sorts of fancy features. Mine are simply going to be better lit than stock. That's it. They're going to have, matching, synchronized, strobing nav lights. They're going to have LED strip light. For the chiller grill, they're going to have breathing LEDs and the Bussard collector. They're going to look really nice. But they're not going to look as nice as Todd's. And they're not going to have all the animated features, except for the breathing, Bussard collectors. We do have our guest star tonight. We do have Rocket. Rocket, hello. Say hi to YouTube. Hello, buddy. Come here. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Can you give paw? Paw. There we go. He's got his Tostito. Rocket, are you happy, boy? Huh? You a happy little guy? Look at him go. Hey. Hi. Come here. Come here. Yeah, look at that handsome little English bulldog. He is so cute. Okay. So he's going to do his thing. I'm going to just start throwing together whole panels because they are a little monotonous. I will agree. We're going to do that. And then I'm going to save up all the nacelle parts and we're going to go over it. Now, I did pre-paint my chiller grills following the steps on the My Enterprise D website from Todd's mypartworks.com website. I did mask them off with the really pain-in-the-butt tape, and I stripped the paint. I painted them clear blue, then I just did the masking, and I did the copper paint from Tamiya. I'll kind of give an overview of that when I get to the chiller grills to kind of show you how it worked. So I'm going to just get started building on all of the non-exciting parts, like that thing, and like this thing, those, like, I mean that's the captain's yacht right there. But we're going to do all that, and that's right there. And if you follow the links below, the Enterprise D is back on. I don't know if it's pre-order or whatever, but yes, you can sign back up for the Enterprise D. And I'll be honest, this is probably one of the more difficult partworks models out there that you can build. But the final product is pretty ridiculously awesome. And if you're a big Star Trek fan like I am, especially Next Generation, which I grew up on, watching Captain Picard and Commander Riker and Worf and Data, Tasha before her untimely demise, all of them, Geordi, and etc. Shut up, Wesley. I grew up watching them with my father. So, I mean, this is a very dear ship to me. So, either way, stay tuned. And this is going to be a really awesome episode. Hopefully. I'll be right back. All right, well, as you can tell, things have happened. I had my power supply set at 5 volts. I didn't really have the amps limited. I hooked it up with with the secondary hull and the saucer and the nacelle and the Evans design controlled strobes that are all synchronized. See, right there and right there. Okay, they stopped blinking. I thought they stopped blinking. So the other night I was troubleshooting with the famous, the one and the only Todd McWilliams from My Partworks, And he had me troubleshooting all sorts. We thought it was a short circuit somewhere, but when I hooked that saucer into that secondary hull, boom, all the strobes went out. All the beacons, whatever we want to call them. We went through a lot of troubleshooting, and we determined the problem was these little sunza. Yeah, JST connectors. Anytime you add like a joint or a JST connector, you add more wire, you add any, it drops voltage and current. It has resistance, and it just builds up to the point where the window lights lit up, and they didn't look necessarily dimmer, but the ship was pulling way less amps. And when I put a voltmeter across the main input leads, it wasn't reading 5 volts. It was reading like 4.3, 4.5, not even 4.5. And this Evan design board needs 5 volts. So if you can see right here, I'm running at 5.4 volts right now. Everything works perfect. And if I measure the voltage right here at the main leads going into the lower hull, it reads like 4.9 something volts, which is fine. With this thing in the way, it was dropping a lot at 5 volts. Now at 5 volts, just so we can see that, they still blink and you can see them. But at about 5.4, it looks a little brighter. I don't know if that translates to camera. And then I also had a JST going to the saucer. I had a JST going to the neck. I have JSTs going to the nacelles. So with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 JSTs, we were dropping enough, and it was pulling so many amps, the connectors were the bottleneck. So either way, I got some 20 gauge silicone jacketed wire from my favorite place, the BN Tech Go, on Amazon. They make nice wire. I hardwired everything into the main input leads, and I'll deal with it. What I've determined now is, even if I got the most mamma jamma, badass USB adapter, I don't think it's going to handle the load. I think what I need to do is get like a rated 9 volt or 12 volt 5 amp power supply, and then I need to get a buck board. And it is a circuit you get, and it has controls in it to set the output voltage you want. Whatever the input voltage is, it handles up to a certain voltage. And we can turn it down until, testing across the input leads, I see that the ship is getting 5 volts. Whatever the amperage is at that point, it is what it is. I just got to get a power brick now. I can't use a USB thing, I don't think. The reason being is Todd's super duper modified Enterprise actually has less lights than a stock build. It has better lighting, but there's actually less LEDs involved, so it's less amperage. He's running, fairly heavy gauge wire into it. He's not using a lot of JST connectors. He's either direct wiring or he's using these barrel plug connectors. And these have fairly heavy gauge wiring, and they have a good solid connection. Inside these JST is just these tiny little pins. They're not pure copper. I don't know what they're tinned with. I don't know what quality wires inside of these. The gauge is questionable at best if it's thick enough. This is definitely not 20 gauge wire inside of these big thick cables, even though they are thicker in jacketing overall, measurement than my 20 gauge. They actually are thinner wire. So either way, if you're going to do this, just be aware, okay? I promise we'll get to one full nacelle build at some point in this video. I'm going to put this away for a little bit, and I'll be back. Okay, we are entering undiscovered country. Yeah, Star Wars pun intended. Todd's website, My Enterprise D, only goes up to stage 114, and now I'm moving past that. So here's the plan here. So I've got this. I just screwed this down. I followed the instructions. We painted these earlier with the copper and the very thin masking tape and lines, just like on the mypartworks.com website, or very similar. And these EM field generator, whatever they are, You'll either get them looking like this if you were an early buyer from Eagle Moss, or you'll get them looking like this later in Fanhome. And what we do is soak them in pure IPA for a while and get them clear. Then we just prime them with black on the back and then gray on the top and then a few coats of this stuff. 72707 Gold Yellow from Vallejo Game Air. I don't love spraying Vallejo, but the Game Air, if you have a bigger needle and some high pressure, right out of the bottle, it'll spray. That's fine. Now down here we have a hole for a switch. So what we have here is we have UV resin tape, which will allow UV light to pass through it, and we tape over that little hole, and we're going to take some Solarez, or this is probably filled up with Mr. Resin, but either way, I'm going to put some of this in the hole, fill it up a little, and then cure it with my UV flashlight, fill that up, and then we're going to touch up the outside with a little bit of, hold, one moment please, Citadel Color Administratum Gray from the fine folks at Games Workshop. We actually have a Games Workshop kit in the queue. I'm so excited. It's for a family member. I'm going to build it for him and paint it on the channel. It'll be very fun kit. I built one Warhammer tank back in the day, and I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a very nice kit. It was very fun. We're just going to fill this little hole up here. I'm not too worried about bubbles. Then we just hit it with a Solarez. And this part's metal, so don't have to worry about overheating plastic. If you're doing this, if you're doing the resin window mod on the Enterprise, which is an undertaking, I would highly suggest following Todd's website, myenterprised.com, and heeding all of the words of wisdom very carefully, because someone like me will absolutely screw it up royally. Air bubbles and all those other things, and I don't care about bubbles right here for the most part, because I'm going to be painting over this. It's on the bottom of the nacelle. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so I'm going to finish drying this, and then we have our two little plunger assemblies to put in here that are, it's like the first nacelle, same setup. I'm just going to get those screwed in and get the battery compartment, which I've snipped all the wires off of. I'm going to get this fixated in place to fill that in. Actually, I might just, maybe I'll fill that with some UV resin also, smooth it out a little bit. Might be nice. Either way, I'll be back in a sec. Alrighty, so we've got our two little plunger mechanisms in there, and we've got our resin in, and we've got some paint drying there. My favorite sport, Olympic paint drying. When they have Olympic paint drying in the Olympics, gold medal, yeah, gold. Yes, 100%. That being said, let's go on to the Bassard collector. This is what you get stock, is this very, very, very red. But that's not how the model looked for the TV show. So what we did was, first of all, the most inner part, we drilled 2 extra 3mm holes in there for our breathing LEDs from Lighthouse LEDs. Comment below if you want to know where I got them. But it was from Lighthouse LEDs. And then this is already, this was also red. I doped this up and dropped it in the isopropyl alcohol along with these. And then we put her in this, we leave this red. So there's literally one red part. Originally there would have been 3 with a single LED in the front, which is silly. And then we stripped this down and sprayed it with, oh, hold on one moment, please. This Krylon frosted glass, semi-transparent spray paint to get it to this beautiful frosted look. And when we sandwich all them together, look at that, we get a little red in there. Then we're gonna have 1 solid LED in the middle and 2 breathing LEDs on the outside. And that will look freaking awesome. because Todd is a genius. That was what he came up with. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So once these dry, I actually got to start building more of this nacelle. Let's see here. What are we gonna do? I gotta get, yeah. So I have to run some LED tape through here. Probably on the inside. I think it was on the inside of my last one. I don't remember what I did in the last one almost. It's ridiculous. But yeah, we got to get that in there. We got to get the other nav beacon. I just dipped them in isopropyl, cleared them out, shoved an itty bitty little 0402 LED in there, SMD, and I also sanded the tip a little bit to kind of haze it out a touch. Gives it better luminosity because, they're not supposed to be green and red on there. We're gonna get that one. Oh, carefully in here, like so, and it will look glorious. It will look amazing. And yeah, so I gotta get wire and LEDs to go in here. So we've got some little resistors in there, and yeah, we're gonna get that part going. Let me get those done, I guess. Get some LEDs in here, get this thing installed, and then move on from there. I'll be right back. Alrighty, a little progress on the nacelle. We've got our 5-volt, 5mm LED strip. Whoa, it's so blue, it's so blue. Oh my God, so blue. It's the bluest thing ever. And then we have some breathing and solid. We have 2 breathing and 1 solid LED. So we've resisted those with a 150 ohm resistor. Come on, come on, come on. I got such a, the mess is, there we go. The mess is getting real. So we got those. So those are breathing. So we got 2 breathers and 1 solid for the Bassard collector. Turn that off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this center section, we're gonna get a breather on each outside leg, and we're gonna get the solid red LED on the inside, like so. I'm gonna retest all those before we solder wires. We gotta get some lead wires on them. And this little retention plate, we've drilled a couple extra holes in it for those 2 other LEDs. And then this, what we've got to do is trim this down to fish it inside of this wire frame here. So pretty much we've got like 1 section too much of it. Yeah, because if we go 1 section further, we can't cut it mid-span because it'll go fakakta on us. So we've got to do is get some in there. We got to jam it in there. We're gonna get it in here. I'm gonna tape it into the frame in there. Inside the frame, we're gonna use some clear bookbinding tape, which I have the rolls off camera. We're obviously gonna get some wires on it first. Test it, shove it in there, get her fitted, and then yeah, we're gonna have at it and get that inside of there. You can go on the outside as well. I don't know why I went on the inside on the other nacelle for some reason. I didn't go around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. I think there was some clearance issue with the other frame fitting on. Or there might not have been, and I was just an idiot, and I could have gone on the outside and used an extra couple inches of LED tape. But either way, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get this trimmed and wired up, and I will be right back. Oh, hold on. 1 moment, please. There we go. There we go. Okay. So to get these taped in here, I take these side panels off, actually. They're just 4 screws. They come right off. And we've got our LED strips in there. And the dogs are barking as usual, like maniacs, because that's what they do. And let's contact. Ba-boom. Look at that. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. A solid 3D printed part here instead of the 3 pieces would probably transmit light a little bit better around right right there. Oh God, they just she's barking at nothing. She's a crazy dog. She's a sweetheart, but she's a mad dog. There we go. So that's our. Geez, I don't want to blind anybody, but that's how that lays in there. See, so it's even at the front and goes all the way around the inside. And now that that's done, we're gonna get our breathing and our solid red LED. We're gonna get leads wider on these and get those all tied together and get those tied to this and this so that we could tie them onto one of our little 4-pin harnesses. But yeah, but I might need some frozen pizza between now and then. But either way, we will be back very shortly. One sec. Hey, everybody. Okay, so if you can say to yourself, I don't know anybody else that hates wrapping wire on LEDs besides me. Welcome to my club. I hate wrapping LEDs on wires. Now, a buddy of mine, Buckman's Model Mania, led me onto this little wire wrapping tool, which is ridiculous. It's insane. I'm going to get close in so you can see how it works. Okay. This is as good as I can focus, I think. It also increases the camera shake. So if you can see, this tool has a little groove right there. Okay, and it's got a double hole right there, and you can see the light through it. Okay, so what we do is we take our LED negative. I already put a resistor on the positive. I don't use the wrapping tool for resistors. You could, but it's kind of an awkward bulky. You'll see why in a second. I only really use it to put the wires on these things. So we can take the worst case scenario, the thicker full LED leg versus the thinner. Let's just hope this thing stays in focus here. Let's hope I can see what I'm doing. Oh, I hit the wrong end of the thing. I was like, where's the groove? There's the groove. We get it slid in there, okay, into that first groove, and then just grab it with your thumb, and then you just shove the LED leg in there. This tool's like actually also marketed for like wrapping wire onto like PCB pins. So we get that into that little hole up to like the lump in the LED leg, and then we just start. Boom. You got your wire, and the slower you pull it back, the tighter your winds will be. And that's how you wrap wire on there. And then you go and throw it in your absolutely amazing OmniFixo helping hand setup. They don't sponsor me. I had to pay full fare. It's like $60, and they're often on back order. But these things were on Adam Savage's tested channel, and oh my God, they really are the best helping hands ever made. Besides, I guess, having your own friggin' welding robot, soldering iron robot at home. But yeah, those things are great. If you're not Tony Stark, this is the best you're gonna get. All right, dummies. That was an Iron Man joke. I'm not calling anybody dummies. I'm the only one here, and they would say it takes one to know one. But again, I'm having so much fun with this tool. Actually, it's actually making the horrible, tedious process of wrapping wires on LEDs like not absolutely miserable. We get this guy onto the little resistor, which is on the positive leg. We're going to go nice and slow, kind of give it a little push in pressure, barely any. Now look at how tight it wraps that wire, and you're all ready now to go ahead and flux your wires. Oh Jesus, that never sounds good. But yeah, we're gonna put a little flux on those wrapped sections of wire there, and we're gonna use the happiest soldering iron on YouTube. And we're going to go, ah, ow, ow, ah, my tongue. Okay, enough of that. And then we're going to solder. So I'll be right back. Just thought I'd give you all a little demo of what you can expect. Now, the lighting is less than ideal, and the camera blows it up, but you can see the breathing. You can see the breathing. Once this is all buttoned up, it looks even betterer, even more betterer, if you can believe that. Just one sec, everybody. Alrighty, so good news and good news. Good news is my lunch is on the way. I lazied out today and just did Uber Eats. The other good news is you get a little preview here. Some of that good YouTube payoff. Boom! There we go. Look at that. There we go. Nice. Okay. So yeah, we're we're moving right along, and we already got our top strobe, beacon, flash, whatever, wired in. We got to get the bottom one installed in the same way with this frame over this. And we're going to have to do a little bit of light blocking back here to make sure none of our red bleeds into our blue. I don't think it's really going to be that much of a problem, honestly, but I'm going to light block back here with some stuff. Probably the black tack. I'm going to use some of that. So I'll be right back once we have it light blocked and we have this thing closed up with its LED in there. It should be fun. All right, one sec. All right, well, we got our nacelle bottom buttoned up and we've plugged in our 4-pin cable, and then what we do is just kind of tuck it in here, and then we can squeeze our nacelle down. I'm just going to mostly squeeze it down. Okay, it's on there. Actually, it is on there pretty well. And then we're going to hit the power, and there we go. Got to add a little more light blocking paint right there. There we have it. And if these don't squeeze together perfectly, I'm going to throw a little glue in there and cross my fingers, hope for the best. But yeah, so we're definitely going to get, and there's a tiny bit of light leaking right there, and there's a tiny bit of light leaking right there, and I'm going to shove some putty into that and see if I can get a tiny bit of putty in there. But other than that, she's looking good. Like I said, I'm gotta squeeze this thing together. They don't sandwich perfectly every time. But there we go. There we are. We got the thing, and they all blink at the same time, along with the one on the belly of the secondary hull. And that's it for this episode. Next episode will be the I guess the finale, possibly with or without applying the decals, because I think Mike Lane might be making dry transfers, but not sure yet. I think they're in the works from a couple places. So either way, thanks for stopping by the dumbest starbase on all of YouTube, Pit Staying Hobbies. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Adios, everybody.